In this video, we're talking about business expenses for photographers. I'll teach you how I save thousands of dollars each year by structuring my business correctly and utilizing tax write-offs. Let's get into it. Hey there, if you're new here, my name's Chris. I'm teaching you photography and how to start a creative business. I want to say a special hi to all my new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. As you can probably tell, I'm not in my studio right now. I'm traveling, and what better time to talk about business expenses than during a trip? Now, the setup I have in this hotel room is not ideal. I've got no key light, so I'm using this big window right here with the curtains drawn, and then I'm using this microphone to record audio, and I've got the camera set up on my suitcase, so bear with me here. So first things first, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice. This is just what I do. I learned this stuff from books, from YouTube videos, doing my research online. You should do your own research too. Talk to a professional, talk to a lawyer before implementing any of these tactics. So when you start out in photography and you're going into the business side of things, you're probably going to fall into one of three boats. So boat one is you're using your personal credit card, personal debit card to buy all of your photography needs and to cover all your expenses. You don't have any formal structure for your business and you don't have a business bank account. In this situation, all your expenses come out of your personal accounts and all of your profits go back into your personal accounts. This is kind of hard to track all your expenses, and I'm assuming you're not doing that. Then boat number two, you're operating as a sole proprietor. You don't have a formal LLC. You're using your personal credit card and personal bank account to take in all your profits and all your expenses. In this situation, you're tracking stuff, but it's a little complicated because it's all coming out of one or two accounts. And then if you're in boat number three, you watched my video on how to form an LLC. If you haven't, it's right here. You're operating as a single member LLC and you're using business bank accounts to take any profits in and for all your business expenses. Boat number three is definitely where you want to be at. It's pretty easy to form a single member LLC. It's pretty easy to get those bank accounts, those business cards, and they have so many advantages. If you don't know anything about that, just watch my video on it and it'll explain everything. So what exactly are business expenses? The IRS defines them as expenses that are ordinary and necessary for your line of work. In this video, I'm only going to be talking about expenses. I'm not going to be talking about depreciating assets or anything like that. That's beyond the scope of this video. This is purely about expenses. So as a photographer, what kind of expenses do you incur? Your camera, your lenses, tripods, any accessories you need. Those are definitely things that you can expense. These are ordinary and necessary for your business. But there's a lot of other small things that you might not think of that really add up, like all the softwares you use from Lightroom, Photoshop, accounting software you might use, any software that you use for client management. All of these add up and they are business expenses for you. In addition to that, if you do any advertising for your business, that counts as an expense. Really, anything you do for your business that makes it grow, you can write off. If you're renting a studio space, that's another great expense you can write off. If you don't have a studio space and you're shooting from home, you might be eligible for the home office deduction. So the home office deduction is something you can write off if you're using a room in your house purely for your business. So if you have an extra bedroom that was normally empty and now you have your photo studio in there and your computer and your desk and you're using it only for your business, you can actually write that off. Now, the IRS is really strict when they say only for your business here. If you've got a bed in there and you're sleeping, that does not count. If you're doing any other activities in there, that just doesn't count. It has to be purely used for your business. So if you have a studio space in your house, you got backdrops there, a desk, only stuff for your business, that's great, and that can count as the home office deduction. Now, some of this stuff can get pretty complicated, so again, talk to professionals. Don't just trust one video watch on YouTube. This is what I do, but I did a lot of research before actually implementing these things into my business. So there's some great books you can read. I'll link them down below. Again, talk to people, do your research. One final expense I want to talk about is travel, of course. So if you have clients that you need to travel for, whether that's going to a wedding a few hours away, you have to stay at a hotel room, that counts as a business expense. If you have to fly somewhere, that entire flight can be covered as a business expense. Just make sure your trip is business and not purely for pleasure. I'm from Chicago, so if there was a company in New York that wanted me to go out to New York and take photos of their product in the city, I would book a flight with my business card, I would get a hotel room with my business card, and that would count as an expense. So there are a lot of different expenses in your business, and all these are a little tricky to keep track of. So if you're using a business card and business bank account, that already solves one problem of keeping track of everything. It's all under one account, so you know everything in those accounts is for business only. Next, what I would do is get some sort of accounting software. I use QuickBooks for all my expense tracking. It's really simple to use, and come tax time, I could just run some reports and it'll tell me exactly how my business is doing and what I have to pay taxes on. So using QuickBooks will make your life so much easier than trying to track all this stuff in like a spreadsheet or something like that. I think it's awesome you're trying to get better at the creative business side of things. I know this stuff might be boring to some of you. It's just numbers, accounting, nothing super glamorous. It's not the photography, it's not the videography side of things. But understanding this stuff will take you that much farther in your business. By utilizing business bank accounts, business credit cards, all these tax write-offs, you'll save a lot of money and it'll help grow your business. So if you've made it this far, action steps: if you don't have an LLC, first thing to do, form that LLC. After you got those formation documents, go to the bank, open up a business bank account, get a business credit card, and then get QuickBooks or some sort of accounting software. Link that all together and then track all your expenses. I would recommend tracking on a weekly basis just to make sure that you know where your money's going, how much money's coming in, and being on track with your financials is a very important part of the business, making sure that you're profitable, making sure you're not spending too much money, and utilizing all these expenses to actually save you money on your taxes is a fantastic strategy. So I hope you got some value out of this. If you did, please give it a like. I really appreciate you watching. And if you want to stay updated for what I'm doing, all my future videos, please hit subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next one.